Hello, my name is Olof Nordling and I'm providing staff support to the Address Supporting Organization, or ASO. And that's all about the numbers in the ICANN name, Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers. And the numbers in this context are IP addresses, autonomous system numbers, and they are handled by the ASO. Policy developed for those are provided by the ASO. But the ASO is slightly different from the other supporting organizations. And in order to explain that, we need to check out what one could call, or does call, the addressing community, as it were. Because across the world there are 5 important regional internet registries. They get big chunks of addresses from ICANN through the IANA function, and they in turn allocate these addresses to internet service providers and local internet registries and national internet registries, as they're called, which in turn provide you individually with the IP addresses you need to access the internet. So very important indeed, and really at the core function. The 5 regional internet registries are one for each, one could say, largely ICANN region. So there is ARIN for the North America region, there's LACNIC for the South America region, there's APNIC for the Asia Pacific region, there's AFRINIC for the African region, and RIBE NCC for the European region. Well, and they work together and have a global cooperation which they call the Number Resource Organization. And now we come to the explanation of the ASO, because the ASO is based on a memorandum of understanding between ICANN and the NRO and the regional internet registries, frequently called RIRs, stating that the ASO function should be undertaken by the NRO. So, with that explanation, what do they do in the ICANN context? Well, they do 2 things. First of all, they appoint 2 members to the board. The ASO Address Council is responsible for that. And they also provide ICANN and the IANA function with what's called global policy proposals, which are developed through bottom-up policy development processes in each RIR. And when we talk about global policy proposals, it has a very, very specific meaning in this context, because they develop many regional policies, but a few policies are needed in order for the central allocation to the RIRs of IP addresses and autonomous system numbers. And only those that affect that kind of allocation are called global policies. And there are around about 5 of those for IPv4, one but which is now in the past tense not applicable anymore, for IPv6, for autonomous system numbers, for allocation of the very few last IPv4 address blocks, which has already happened last year, or 2011. And there is one underway currently. We're talking about this in March, and that's for handling recovered IPv4 blocks. What happens is that once the RIRs all by themselves have looked at such a global policy proposal at that stage and got consensus support and adopted it locally within their RIR, it goes to the NRO for verification that all procedures have been followed, and then it's handed over to the ICANN board for ratification. And there are provisions for this in the ASO MOU, which stipulates a 60-day window for the ICANN board to decide. So, from the time or the day that it's delivered to ICANN, the ICANN board has 60 days to approve it or ask a complementary question. Otherwise, if they don't act at all, it's ratified by default. So it's a very, very special process, and quite unlike what's happening with proposals coming from the CCNSO and GNSO. But those two aspects, the appointment of 2 members to the board and the forwarding of global policy proposals to the ICANN board are, one could say, the main functions of the ASO from an ICANN perspective. And they also appear and inform about their policy development, also on the regional level, frequently at the ICANN meetings. And last but not least, for anybody that's interested in taking part in the global policy proposal developments or any development of regional policies as well, they have very completely open processes, and anybody can attend. They have open mailing lists, anybody can subscribe, and it's not even confined to the particular region where you happen to be based or located. You can subscribe and participate in all the regions or any of the regions as you wish. And with that, I think I conclude this little introduction to the ASO.